Is the Dandadan manga really worth reading? Part 1 of Season 1 just ended and won't be back until the summer, but even with Science Saru killing it with the adaptation, a lot of manga fans will probably tell you that you don't need to read the manga. But even though the anime is better than anyone expected, there's at least 5 months before it comes back, and in the meantime, you'll be missing out on one of the best ongoing manga. Even better than Chainsaw Man. So as someone who reads every new chapter of Dandadan and followed the anime on a weekly basis, I'd like to explain what the manga does better than the anime, discuss the later content that you might want to check out before you get spoiled, and briefly talk about the mysterious new villain that was revealed, as well as the potential endgame for the entire series. As you can probably tell, while I'm going to keep them to the absolute bare minimum, this video will probably contain some minor spoilers. That being said, before I get into potential spoiler territory, I'd like to start with what the manga has that's better than the anime, namely the art of Yukinobu Tatsu. To be fair, Science Saru is arguably the best anime studio in the business right now. It's certainly not the biggest studio, but it's been around for a while and has created some of the most iconic projects like Devilman Crybaby, Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, and now Dandadan. It's even reached into Western media like Star Wars and, more famously, Adventure Time. The studio's loose approach to animation has led to some of the best-looking character expression in this generation of anime. But even acknowledging all of that, there's something the anime will never be able to capture. Yukinobu Tatsu has been drawing Dandadan for a few years now, and without a doubt, his talent rivals some of the best artists in the industry. His scenery is incredibly detailed, his characters are refreshingly expressive, and his dynamic action scenes make the fights some of the best looking in all of manga. Tatsu is one of those artists that pays respect to the classic style started by Akira Toriyama, but adds to it in a way where it could be argued that it looks even better than Dragon Ball. His characters are some of the best looking in manga, and even when he draws characters from other manga, his style kinda makes them look better than the originals. And the crazy part is the guy almost never takes breaks. Unlike One Piece or Jujutsu Kaisen, I think Dandadan takes maybe 6 weeks off in any given year. What this means is that Tatsu delivers insanely detailed and incredibly powerful looking chapters every single week, making him one of the most talented artists of all time. I say all this because as much as I love the new anime and as much as I stan Science Saru, it will only ever be an adaptation. It will never come close to fully expressing the incredible level of detail that goes into each chapter of Dandadan. So if you watched the anime and you really fell in love with the story, you owe it to yourself to check out the manga and discover the beauty of the source material. On that note, you also owe it to yourself to read the manga so you can follow all of the new characters. But before I say more on that, make sure to like the video if you're enjoying it so far. It's the easiest way to support the channel, and it helps spread the video to other viewers like you. Now, the other reason you should be reading Dandadan in between the break is because there will almost definitely be a lot of discourse surrounding this character. As a matter of fact, I'm recording this video about 1 week before what I will imagine will be the date of his reveal in the anime. This is Gigi, Momo's childhood friend and first ever crush, and as soon as he's introduced, he becomes one of the most divisive characters in the fanbase, thanks to his role as a romantic rival to Okarun. So much so that even well after these events were first shown in the manga, readers still debate whether Gigi is a bad character or an annoying character. In fact, you can already see memes floating around with Okarun defending Momo like, "Bro, she's good." So why do I recommend reading the manga now before part 2? Well, as someone who follows the manga, I've noticed the discussions surrounding Gigi coming up more and more often, and they're already more divisive than some of the conversations surrounding Aira, and she became a fairly likable character right away. Gigi is a character that is also likable, but his role in the story naturally leads to resentment. In fact, he still kind of has this role, but also kind kind of doesn't now. Tatsu kind of teases it here and there, and it's currently one of the most confusing elements of the story. So if you're someone who deeply enjoys this story and wants to wrestle with its flaws as well as its strengths, then you're better off reading the manga now so that you can come to your own conclusions about GG before he becomes the #1 mainstream topic and everyone either completely loves him or totally hates him. Kinda like when everyone hypes up a character before you meet them, or everyone says a character is bad and you see it so many times that you just assume they're right. So read the manga, because GG is a bit more nuanced than he might seem when you first meet him in the anime. Now obviously, GG is only one of Dandadan's main characters, and there's a lot of new characters that are just as great, even the ones that probably won't make it into season 1. So another big reason to check out the manga is because there's a lot of these great characters. Again, I'll do my best to avoid any big spoilers, so I'll share my list of some of Dandadan's best characters that you haven't met yet. So first, there's the man, the myth, the legend, Kinta. Kinta is a blessing. I mean, he's kinda gross, not gonna lie, but he is the nerd that we all wish we could be. Kinta starts out questioning Okarun as to how he's able to pull girls like Momo and Ira. One volume later, he's piloting a space mech. So between the Gundam piloting and the random JoJo poses, Kinta is one of Dandadan's most legendary characters. Granted, he doesn't have any powers, but he's the one normal kid in the group who represents all of our inner nerds. At the same time, we also meet Vamola, or Bamora, depending on the pronunciation. Vamola is an alien from far away who, thanks to her spacesuit, can transform into a giant robot kaiju. She came to Earth in search of someone to help her defeat a mysterious group of aliens, but she slowly becomes one of the regulars in the group, copying the way Momo dresses and copying all of Gigi's poses, catchphrases, and funny faces. Now, there's other characters, but they're fairly new, so I'll briefly gloss over them. There's Rin, the class rep who can transform into a super-powered idol. Ouji, the boss of the delinquents who has this badass transformation where he uses this cool-looking umbrella. And recently we met Koki, the girl who can summon pygmies. The main crew starts off strong with just a few characters and is slowly getting bigger. And as you know from the Acrobatic Silky episode, if there's anything Tatsu knows how to do, it's writing cool, emotional characters. So if you'd like more characters like this, then it only makes sense to meet all of these characters in the manga. Now, the last reason you need to start the manga right now, and this is the most important reason, is because of this guy. This is Count Saint Germain. Now, if you're like me, you might hear that name and think to yourself, where have I heard that before?
What the fuck is toilet paper?
It's Chinese. Good morning, Judge.
Toilet paper?
Saint Germain is a key player in the Castlevania animated series, but a quick Google search will tell you that he was also a real-life figure that hung out with guys like Voltaire and dabbled in just about everything. Science, philosophy, and apparently alchemy. Now, what does alchemy have to do with a show about aliens and monsters? Well, nothing yet. But like the real Count, Saint Germain is a mysterious figure who goes by many names and uses a number of disguises. He's also played a suspiciously small part in every major event for what feels like a majority of the story. He has ties to Ouji and Koki, he's recognized by a lot of the spirits and spirit mediums, and if I'm not mistaken, he's even recognized by some of the aliens. The problem is that while everyone knows his name, nobody knows his true identity or his true intentions for involving himself in these affairs again and again. I won't get into major spoilers, but for now, you should know that it's already been hinted that Saint Germain may end up being the catalyst for the endgame of this manga, as he's already suggested where the story is likely headed. Now, I've gained a small reputation for saying Dandadan is a romance, But at this point, while that is still true, it's also slowly becoming a massive thriller driven by an increasingly eerie mystery. And that mystery has been slowly built by all of these different connections that all seem to go back to Saint Germain. Because of this, there's already enough material to suggest that Dandadan could have a big mystery that rivals that of One Piece and Attack on Titan, except for the part where it blows up in everyone's face. And especially if you're a fan of either of those series, you know that it's impossible to enjoy the anime without manga fans ruining it for you whenever a big chapter comes out, or whenever that same event happens in the anime and all the manga fans start talking about it. So while there's a ton of reasons to read Dandadan, like the art or the new characters, the biggest reason I'd say you should take advantage of this break is because Dandadan is only getting better and better with each new chapter. And the better the story gets, the more fans it will get. I was one of the people that said the anime would just do okay, and obviously I was wrong since it's one of the biggest anime of the year. Because of that, I have reason to believe there will be a new wave of manga fans that will catch up to the manga. When that happens, there's plenty of reason to believe that there will be a ton of people reacting to new chapters on the internet. What I'm saying is that while the anime might be on break, the manga will still be going on. And if I know manga fans, I know that they're terrible when it comes to spoiling everyone else. So if you like Dandadan and you do care about spoilers, I highly recommend reading it now before everyone else spoils it for you. That, and the manga is kind of awesome. But now I'd like to hear what you think. What are your plans for Dandadan? How would you compare the anime and manga? Share your thoughts and see what everyone else has to say down in the comments. I'll pick my favorite and share it as comment of the week on my community tab. And if you'd like to join me for another discussion like this one, then make sure to check out my live streams every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. In those live streams, I react to new chapters, as well as discuss other anime and manga topics. Also, check out my other Dandadan videos, which you can find in the playlist linked right here. Until then, thank you for watching, and I hope to hear from you soon.